Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of greatness, there is a force, quiet but unstoppable, that separates the extraordinary from the average, the achiever from the drifter, the resilient from the broken. This force cannot be purchased. It cannot be handed down. It must be developed through thought, through struggle, and through deliberate choice. That force is what I call an unbreakable positive mental attitude. It is not merely about thinking happy thoughts. It is not about ignoring reality or pretending problems do not exist. No. This attitude is earned. It is the steel forged in the fire of experience, a mental armor that lets no defeat remain permanent, no setback become a sentence, no pain turn into paralysis. So how, you ask, can we develop such a mind? Let us begin at the root, with what I call the definiteness of purpose. You must know what you want in life. The mind cannot remain positive while drifting aimlessly. Uncertainty is the soil in which fear grows. If you do not direct your thoughts toward a definite goal, the world will direct them for you, and often toward limitation, not liberation. Ask yourself, what am I truly after? Not what others expect of you. Not what looks good on a resume or social media feed. I mean the deep, burning desire that calls to you when the world is quiet. Find that, define it clearly, and you have taken your first step toward mental strength. Once you have purpose, you must move to the second pillar, mastery over your thoughts. Your mind is a garden. Every thought you think is a seed. You cannot plant weeds and expect roses. If you think thoughts of defeat, you will live a life of defeat. If you think thoughts of power, of purpose, of possibility, then power, purpose, and possibility will shape your life. Let no negative thought go unchecked. Cast it out. Replace it with its positive opposite. Turn, I can't, into, I will. Turn, this is too hard, into, this is my chance to grow. Remember, the mind will believe whatever you tell it most consistently. Make sure what you're telling it moves you forward, not backward. Third, recognize this truth. You are the average of what you allow into your environment. The people you associate with, the content you consume, the habits you repeat, all of it either lifts you up or pulls you down. If you want an unbreakable mind, you must build an environment of influence. That means associating with people who believe in growth. That means replacing complaints with conversations that build. It means filling your time with books, podcasts, and mentors, even virtual ones, that reinforce your belief in your mission and your strength. Guard your energy like a priceless treasure, because it is, and now, a secret known only to those who dare to shape their own destiny. Daily autosuggestion. Speak to yourself with power. Every morning, every night. Do not hope for confidence. Create it. Say, I am capable. I am focused. I attract success. I overcome all obstacles. Say it with belief. Say it when you don't believe. And keep saying it until belief takes root. Why? Because the subconscious mind does not argue. It accepts what it is told most often. Tell it you are a failure, and it will manifest that. Tell it you are a force of nature, and it will rally every fiber of your being to make that true. But, friends, no one builds an unbreakable attitude in ease and comfort. So I must speak of the storm, the setbacks, the loss, the failure, the heartbreak. This is your fifth lesson. Turn adversity into fuel. Every person you admire has faced defeat, but they did not remain defeated. Why? Because they knew the truth, that every setback carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. That rejection, it taught you resilience. That failure, it taught you strategy. That delay, it taught you patience and preparation. You must not run from adversity, you must transform it. That is the secret. Do not ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this preparing me for? And finally, the capstone of an unbreakable positive attitude, action backed by belief. What use is a strong mind if it is never expressed in movement? You must act. Act with courage. Act with faith. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Make the moment perfect through bold decisions. Let your thoughts become plans. Let your plans become steps. Let your steps become habits. And let your habits become legacy. Every day you must decide, will I be the victim of my circumstances or the master of them? Will I wait for life to change, or will I become the change? Let me tell you this, and hear it well. No one can take from you a mind that refuses to quit. No failure can break a soul that rises each time it falls. No obstacle can stop a person who has already decided, in the quiet of their heart, that they will not be defeated. So I ask you now, will you choose strength over fear, purpose over confusion, growth over comfort? Will you build that mindset, not of wishful thinking, but of unstoppable belief? Then say it with me. I am not broken, I am becoming. I am not defeated, I am developing. My mind is my strongest weapon, and I choose to wield it with purpose. This is how legends are made. This is how legacies are built. This is how you develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude. Definiteness of purpose is the foundation upon which all personal success is built. It is the clear, unwavering focus on a specific goal or mission that gives your life direction and power. Without it, the mind wanders aimlessly, vulnerable to distraction, negativity, and defeat. But with it, you gain clarity, a mental compass that guides every thought, decision, and action toward a greater purpose. When a person knows exactly what they want, they stop being tossed around by circumstance. They become the captain of their own ship, steering through storms with a firm hand and unwavering eye. Purpose turns confusion into clarity and doubt into drive. It is the spark that ignites determination and the fuel that sustains motivation even in the darkest hours. Without a definite goal, you may work hard, but your effort becomes scattered, your energy diluted. You may climb, but there is no mountaintop in sight. The result, frustration, burnout, regret. But the moment you define your purpose, truly define it, your mind awakens with power. You begin to attract the people, resources, and opportunities that align with your vision. Your subconscious starts filtering the noise of the world, and your focus sharpens like a blade. You begin to walk, talk, and think in alignment with that goal. Every setback becomes feedback, every delay becomes preparation, and every small victory strengthens your resolve. This is not about chasing money, status, or applause. It's about discovering what sets your soul on fire. The mission that pulls you forward even when no one is watching, even when the rewards are far away. That kind of purpose cannot be given to you. It must be uncovered through deep reflection, honesty, and courage. It requires you to look beyond temporary pleasures and instead ask, what legacy do I want to leave? What impact do I want to make? What would I do even if I failed 99 times? When you have definiteness of purpose, your life begins to take on meaning. You stop comparing yourself to others because you are running your own race. You stop fearing failure because you understand it is part of the process. You stop seeking permission because your conviction becomes your authority. You become unstoppable not because you never fall, but because you always rise with your eyes still fixed on the goal. Purpose gives pain a reason. It turns obstacles into stepping stones. And most importantly, it builds within you the confidence that, no matter what happens outside of you, the power to persevere, to improve, and to win already lives within you. So choose your purpose. Write it down, commit to it daily, because when your life is anchored by a clear goal, your positive mental attitude becomes not just possible, but unbreakable. Mastery over thoughts is the cornerstone of all personal development and achievement. Every action you take, every word you speak, and every result you experience begins first as a thought. Your mind is constantly generating ideas, judgments, and emotions, many of them unconscious. But the person who learns to direct and discipline these thoughts is the one who gains real power. Without mastery over your thinking, you are at the mercy of external circumstances. You react rather than respond. You doubt rather than decide. You become a passenger in your own life instead of the driver. But here's the truth: your mind is not your enemy, unless you allow it to be. It is a tool, a servant. Left unchecked, it will wander into fear, comparison, and worry. But with intention and awareness, you can train your mind to align with strength, clarity, and progress. Mastering your thoughts doesn't mean pretending bad things don't happen or denying painful emotions. It means learning how to guide your mental energy in a way that serves your highest good. It means refusing to dwell in negativity. It means noticing when your thoughts begin to spiral and choosing. Yes, choosing a different direction. The average person allows their mind to be shaped by their environment, by the news, by opinions, by setbacks, and by the past. But you are not average. You are here to lead your mind, not follow it. This requires effort, discipline, and constant repetition. It requires daily self-awareness, catching those limiting beliefs, those quiet doubts, those old fears, and replacing them with thoughts that reflect your potential rather than your past. You must become the guardian of your inner world. Feed your mind content that inspires growth. Speak words that affirm strength. Visualize outcomes that reflect your goals, not your fears, because what you allow to take root in your mind will eventually show up in your life. The thought becomes the belief becomes the behavior, and the behavior becomes the result. When you master your thoughts, you don't just feel more confident. You become more effective. You begin to think strategically instead of emotionally. You pause before reacting. You plan instead of panic. You create instead of complain. This is the beginning of real control. Not over the world, but over your perception of it. And that changes everything. This process is not about perfection. Negative thoughts will still come. That's normal. The key is to not let them stay. A mastered mind does not mean a silent mind. It means a disciplined one. You observe your thoughts without judgment, and you steer them like a pilot guiding a plane through turbulent skies. Your attitude, your success, your peace, they all begin in the arena of your mind. Mastery over thoughts is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Because until you take full responsibility for what you think, you will remain a prisoner of what you feel. But once you claim that responsibility, once you decide to think on purpose, to think with power, to think with clarity, then you unlock the true engine behind all success. You become the creator of your life, not a product of your environment. And that is how you begin to build a positive mental attitude that nothing and no one can break. Your environment of influence plays a critical role in shaping who you become. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly absorbing the energy, values, beliefs, and behaviors of the people and spaces around you. This influence works quietly, but powerfully. It can either lift you toward excellence or drag you toward mediocrity. That's why mastering your environment is one of the most important steps in developing a truly unbreakable positive mental attitude. Think of your mind like a sponge. It soaks up everything: conversations, media, habits, emotions, even silence. If you surround yourself with negativity, gossip, fear, or small thinking, you will unconsciously absorb those patterns. You may not even notice it at first, but over time, they take root. You begin to think more cautiously, dream smaller, and hesitate more often. On the other hand, when you place yourself in an environment of encouragement, growth, and high standards, your attitude shifts. You think bigger, you act bolder, you aim higher. This is why it's not enough to just work on your inner world. You must also carefully choose your outer world. Your circle of influence should reflect your goals, not your fears. If you want to think positively, then you must be around people who speak positively, who believe in possibility, who take action even in the face of doubt. These people don't have to be physically near you. Books, podcasts, videos, and mentors from afar can become part of your environment too. In the digital age, what you consume is just as influential as who you spend time with. Pay close attention to how you feel after being around certain people or engaging in certain activities. Are you drained, discouraged, and doubtful? Or are you energized, focused, and optimistic? Your energy doesn't lie. It is your compass, and it will always point you toward the environments that support your growth. If you're willing to listen, creating a powerful environment is not always easy. It might mean distancing yourself from relationships that are rooted in the past, not the future. It might mean limiting conversations that revolve around complaining and blame. It might even mean standing alone for a while until the right influences begin to show up. But this short-term discomfort leads to long-term elevation. Your environment also includes your habits, your routines, and even the physical spaces you spend time in. Is your workspace cluttered or clear? Is your morning routine intentional or reactive? Does your day begin with motivation or distraction? Every detail matters. Because over time, the environment you build becomes the environment that builds you. No one rises in isolation. Every successful person has been influenced by a network of ideas, people, habits, and surroundings that fueled their ascent. Be intentional about constructing your own. Design your environment with the same care you would design a masterpiece, because that's exactly what it is. Remember, your mind is like a garden. You can plant the best seeds, thoughts of courage, belief, and purpose. But if the soil is toxic, the seeds won't grow. Your environment is that soil. Make sure it nourishes you. Make sure it supports the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. When your surroundings match your vision, your attitude becomes unshakable. You start waking up with purpose. You move through the world with confidence. You begin to attract new opportunities, not by chance, but by alignment. That is the silent power of environment. And once you control it, your growth becomes inevitable. Daily autosuggestion is the deliberate practice of feeding your mind with the exact thoughts and beliefs you want it to adopt, over and over again, until they take root in your subconscious and begin to influence your reality. It is one of the most underestimated but powerful tools available to anyone who wants to master their mindset and create lasting change. Because the truth is, you are already using autosuggestion every day, whether you realize it or not. The question is, are you using it intentionally to build yourself up, or are you allowing your mind to absorb limiting thoughts without resistance? Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between truth and falsehood. It simply accepts what it is told most often. This is why negative self-talk can be so damaging. Every time you say to yourself, "I'm not good enough," "I always fail," "Nothing ever works out for me," your mind listens and begins to shape your behavior, choices, and attitude accordingly. The more you repeat it, the deeper it sinks in. That's why we must flip the script. We must take control of this process and begin speaking to ourselves with purpose and power. Daily autosuggestion is not wishful thinking. It is focused repetition. It is mental conditioning. It's the same process that top athletes, world-class performers, and high achievers use to stay locked into their goals. They visualize success, they affirm their strengths, and they train their minds just as intentionally as they train their bodies. To practice it effectively, you need to create affirmations that reflect the future you want to create, not the present you're stuck in. These statements must be positive, personal, and in the present tense. For example, I am focused and disciplined. I attract opportunities that align with my purpose. I overcome challenges with confidence and calm. Even if you don't fully believe these statements at first, you say them anyway, consistently, because with repetition, belief begins to form. Speak these affirmations aloud in the morning when your mind is still fresh and before bed when your subconscious is most open to suggestion. Write them down, record them in your own voice and play them back. Turn them into your internal soundtrack. The key is persistence. It may feel strange at first. You might doubt yourself, but continue, because every time you affirm your strength, your mind takes note. Over time, you begin to act in alignment with the identity you're programming. When you feed your mind positive autosuggestions daily, you begin to notice a shift. Your inner critic grows quieter. Your confidence grows stronger. You stop reacting with fear and start responding with intention. Opportunities that once intimidated you begin to feel natural. This is not magic. This is the power of mental reprogramming. You cannot expect to grow if you keep watering your mind with thoughts of limitation. You must become intentional with your inner dialogue. Your thoughts create patterns. Your patterns create habits. And your habits create your life. With daily autosuggestion, you are no longer passively accepting the narrative the world gives you. You are writing your own. Every day, remind yourself who you are becoming. Every day, speak words that affirm your mission, your resilience, and your value. When practiced with consistency and emotion, daily autosuggestion can shape your beliefs, fuel your attitude, and transform your results. Because when your mind believes you can, your actions begin to prove that you will. Turning adversity into fuel is one of the greatest mental transformations a person can make. It's the difference between allowing challenges to break you and using them to build you. Every successful individual, every resilient human being you admire, has faced hardship. What separates them from the rest is not the absence of struggle, but their response to it. They made a conscious decision to turn their pain into power, their setbacks into strategies, and their failures into feedback. That is the art of turning adversity into fuel. Life does not move in a straight line. Plans get interrupted. People disappoint us. Circumstances shift. And sometimes it feels like everything we've worked for is slipping through our fingers. But adversity, though uncomfortable and often unwanted, is not the enemy. It is a messenger. It arrives in disguise, carrying with it the exact experiences needed to stretch our character, sharpen our focus, and strengthen our spirit. When you face adversity, you are faced with a choice. You can view it as punishment, or you can see it as preparation. You can allow it to paralyze you, or you can use it to propel you. This mental shift doesn't happen automatically. It requires a deep inner decision to see differently, to train your mind to extract value from difficulty. Every failure carries a lesson. Every loss reveals a truth. Every obstacle forces growth. But only the person who chooses to reflect, adapt, and keep moving forward can access that value. Some of your greatest strength will come from your darkest days. Think back to the most painful moments in your life. The times when everything felt uncertain, when the future was unclear, when you were forced to face reality head-on. It was in those moments that you discovered parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. Courage, patience, creativity, resilience. These qualities aren't born in comfort. They are born in adversity. Turning adversity into fuel means refusing to adopt the victim mindset. It means refusing to let challenges define your identity. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What is this teaching me? How can I grow from this?" This reframing puts you back in control. It doesn't deny the pain, but it gives the pain purpose. It also means persistence. You cannot overcome adversity if you stop moving. You must take action, even small action, despite fear, despite uncertainty, despite fatigue. Every forward step is a declaration that adversity will not win. You are stronger, you are more determined, and you will not back down. Many breakthroughs are born not in moments of success, but in moments of crisis. The invention that came after the failure, the new direction found after the dead end, the deeper faith formed after the heartbreak. But you only discover these breakthroughs if you stay in the fight. You cannot allow adversity to be the final chapter in your story. Use it, study it, rise from it. When you learn to turn adversity into fuel, you become dangerous in the best possible way. You become someone who cannot be easily discouraged. Someone who does not shrink in the face of difficulty, but rather grows stronger through it. You become someone whose attitude is not dependent on comfort, but anchored in character. So when the next challenge comes, and it will, meet it with a quiet determination. Let it know that you are not here to be defeated. You are here to evolve. Let it know that your spirit cannot be broken. It can only be refined. And in doing so, you will turn adversity into your greatest advantage. Because with the right mindset, what was meant to destroy you can become the very thing that delivers you to your destiny. Action fueled by belief is the force that turns dreams into reality. It's not enough to merely hope or wish for something to happen. You must believe it is possible, and then back that belief with relentless, focused action. This union between belief and behavior creates a kind of inner power that propels you forward, even when the odds seem stacked against you. Belief gives you vision. Action gives you momentum. Together, they build a life of purpose, progress, and fulfillment. Without belief, action lacks direction. Without action, belief remains nothing more than a wish. But when you believe deeply in your goal, when you know in your heart that what you're striving for is not only possible but inevitable, your steps become more deliberate, your decisions more precise. You begin to move through life with a sense of certainty, and that certainty is magnetic. It pulls resources toward you. It attracts opportunities. It inspires others. But most importantly, it fuels your own consistency. You show up day after day, not because it's easy, but because you know what you're working toward matters. This kind of belief doesn't mean you never experience doubt. Doubt will come. Fear will whisper. Failure will test you. But belief says, I may fall, but I will rise. I may struggle, but I will not stop. It becomes the voice that drowns out the noise of uncertainty. It's not about arrogance. It's about alignment. Aligning your thoughts, your energy, and your actions with the outcome you are determined to create. And here's what makes this combination unstoppable: action reinforces belief. Every time you take a step, no matter how small, your confidence grows. You begin to see evidence of progress. You build trust in yourself. You start to realize that you are more capable than you ever imagined. It becomes a cycle of empowerment. Belief drives action, and action strengthens belief. This is how momentum is built. This is how transformation happens. Too many people wait to feel confident before they take action. But the truth is, confidence is not a prerequisite. It's a result. You must act even when you're uncertain, especially when you're uncertain, because belief is not always loud. Sometimes it's just the quiet decision to keep going, to keep showing up, to keep building, improving, learning, even when no one is clapping, even when the results are slow, even when the path feels unclear. When your actions are powered by belief, you stop depending on motivation. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need constant validation. You don't need everything to make sense right away. You just need to keep moving with intention, because you know, not hope, but know, that the seeds you plant today will bear fruit in the future. This is the mindset of the finisher, the achiever, the leader. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about consistency fueled by conviction. You may not have all the answers, but when you believe in your goal and take action anyway, you become the kind of person who finds answers, who creates solutions, who does not stop until the mission is complete. Let your belief become the foundation of your discipline. Let your vision become the reason behind your work ethic. And let your daily action be the proof that you're serious about your future. Because when belief fuels action and action reinforces belief, you are no longer just dreaming, you are becoming. And that is the greatest transformation of all. In the journey of building an unbreakable positive mental attitude, remember this: your mind is your greatest asset. Guard it, feed it, train it. Every principle we've explored, from having a clear and definite purpose, to mastering your thoughts, to shaping your environment, speaking daily autosuggestions, transforming adversity into fuel, and taking consistent action fueled by belief. These are not just concepts to admire. They are disciplines to live. There will be days when your strength is tested, when the noise of the world grows loud, and when doubts try to find their way in. But you now know where your power lies. It lies in your response, in your ability to choose focus over fear, progress over perfection, purpose over passivity. And that choice, when made daily, transforms your mindset into a fortress that no negativity can penetrate. This is not about pretending life is always easy. It's about becoming the kind of person who can thrive no matter what life brings. It's about becoming rooted so deeply in clarity, resilience, and faith in your future that setbacks no longer shake you. They sharpen you. With every challenge you face, with every decision you make, you are shaping your destiny. And when your mind is aligned with strength, fueled by belief, and guided by purpose, there is no limit to what you can become. So move forward today, not as someone who is hoping things will change, but as someone who has already decided they will. You are not waiting for the world to hand you a breakthrough. You are building it, one thought, one action, one unshakable belief at a time. Stay focused, stay grounded, and above all, stay committed to the person you are becoming. Because that version of you, the one with an unbreakable positive mental attitude, is already on the rise.